Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to the English home mentoring session. And today we are going to start chapter number 5 of your Hornbill book, that is The Ailing Planet by Nani Palkhiwala. Let's read something about the author. Nani Palkhiwala is one of India's leading lawyers and an economist. He had represented some of the crucial cases in India at the Supreme Court, like the Keshwananda Bharti case, and being an excellent orator. Orator means one who speaks excellent, who has skills of oratory, and a bureaucrat, and he was the most sought personality during his tenure. He was awarded Padma Vibhushan, that is India's highest civilian award by the Government of India for his excellence. And he has written some of the excellent books like Law and Practice of Income Tax, We the People, and We the Nation. He held a model that democracy is the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution and it should never be deferred at any cost. Let's read something about what this chapter is going to tell us. This chapter is basically an article which was published in the Indian Express on 24th November 1994. The name of the writer you already know, that is Nani Palkhiwala. It was published in the Indian Express on 24th November 1994. The issues that he raised regarding the declining health of the earth continue to have relevance. So this is the theme of our chapter, that in this chapter the writer has discussed the declining health of the earth, and his article continues to have relevance even today. So this chapter focuses on the factors that are responsible for the declining health of the earth. And this chapter was originally an article by Nani Palkhiwala, which was published in the newspaper The Indian Express on 23rd November 1994. So the writer discusses the green movement. In this chapter, we will come to know about various things that he has written about. Just may say number 1 is the green movement. Number 2 is how a zoo in Zambia declared human beings as the world's most dangerous animals. Then we'll read about how the writer has focused on the overpopulation, deforestation, and what should be our responsibility towards the environment. So the chapter begins with that one cannot recall any movement in the world history which has gripped the imagination of the entire human race so completely and so rapidly as the green movement. So our focus is going to be on the green movement in this chapter, which started nearly 25 years ago. 25 years ago when the chapter was written, and it was written in 1994. So the Green Party was formed in 1972. So in 1972, the world's first nationwide Green Party was founded in New Zealand. So this is most important to remember, that in this chapter we are going to read about the Green Movement, which was started nearly 25 years ago, that is in 1972. And under this movement, the first nationwide Green Party was founded in New Zealand. So in this chapter, we are going to read about the impact and the effect that the green movement have had on the people since then. And since then, the movement has not looked back. So the impact of this green movement is that we have shifted, one hopes irrevocably, from the mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view of the world. That means because of this movement, we have stopped looking at our earth from the viewpoint of it as a machine. That it is not a machine that will keep on producing things for our need, but it is a whole and ecological being. Holistic and ecological view means that we have started looking at our earth not in disassociated parts, but as a whole, and an ecological view where we are not only concerned about the resources or products that we receive from earth, but we are also aware about the needs of the earth that it requires for this production. So there is a growing worldwide consciousness that the earth itself is a living organism. So this is most important, that our earth is a living organism, and it is an enormous means huge. It is a huge being. Being means it's a lively living creature, and which we are parts. We are just the parts of this huge creature, huge enormous being, that is our earth. So Our Earth has also its own metabolic needs and vital processes which need to be respected and preserved. The Earth's vital signs reveal a patient in declining Earth health. Unfortunately, the condition of the Earth that we see today is that it reveals that the signs are not good. It means that the condition of our health is declining every day. It is just like a patient and its health is declining. We have begun to realize our ethical obligations, but due to this green movement, we have begun to realize our ethical obligations to be good stewards. Stewards means the protectors of the planet and responsible trustees of the legacy to future generations. That we have started realizing our responsibility, that we are the saviors, the protectors of this planet, and how are we responsible to give this earth, this planet, to our future generations. Then the writer discusses the concept of sustainable development. So this is really important, that how has the writer discussed the sustainable development. Sustainable development was the concept which was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development. This is, you have to remember, that sustainable development concept was popularized in 1987 and it was given by the World Commission on Environment and Development. In its report, it defined the idea as, so this is very, very important, that if you have a question in your paper, that what is the concept of sustainable development, so you should quote these words as it is, because they are the perfect and absolutely right answer for this. It means that development that meets the needs of the present, meets the needs of the present generation, without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. That means that we should adopt such resources, such measures of development where we not only fulfill the needs of the present generation, but we should also keep in mind that we are not supposed to compromise the ability of the earth to meet the needs of the future generation. So that is without stripping the natural world of resources future generations would need. That means we should not strip off our earth of its natural resources. We should not leave our earth totally barren without any natural world of resources, because our future generations also need the same resources that we are using. If we will finish them right now at the scale that we are consuming them, then most probably our future generations will be left with nothing to consume. To focus on this thing, the writer has given us an example of a zoo at Lusaka, Zambia. In the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, there is a cage where the notice reads. So there is a zoo in, this is the map of Zambia. In Zambia, this is a national park, that is Lusaka National Park. There is a cage where the notice reads. So there is a big, huge cage outside which a notice is placed, and the notice reads that the world's most dangerous animal. So can you tell me that who is the world's most dangerous animal? The world's most dangerous animal, inside the cage there is no animal, but a mirror where you see yourself. So that means the most dangerous animal on earth is the human being. We, the human beings, are the most dangerous animals on earth, as we have stripped off the earth of every important resource. But thanks to the efforts of a number of agencies in different countries, a new awareness has now dawned upon the most dangerous animal in the world. So the most dangerous animal in the world, that is human being, has started now realizing his responsibilities towards the earth. A new awakening has dawned upon him. A new awareness has dawned upon him, that he has realized the wisdom of shifting from a system based on domination to one based on partnership. Because of such movements like the green movement, we have started realizing this thing, that we are not supposed to dominate on the natural resources of the earth, but we should use them in partnership with the other species living on the earth. Then the writer gives us a very important information, that scientists have catalogued about 1.4 million living species. Catalog means they have recorded which are known to us. That is 1.4 million living species with which mankind shares the earth. 1.4 million living species are those about whom we know something, but estimates vary widely as regards the still uncatalogued living species. Biologists reckon that about 3 to 100 million other living species still languish unnamed in ignominious darkness. Ignominious darkness means in the darkness of our ignorance. That many living species, about 3 to 100 million living species, can be those which are surviving, जिनका नाम भी हमें नहीं मालूम. We don't know about their names, we don't know what to call them, and they live in the darkness of our ignorance because we don't know anything about them. One of the early international commissions, the first Brand report, raised the question, are we leave to our successors a scorched means totally burnt, planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes, and ailing environment? That at the rate at which we are consuming the natural resources of our earth, are we going to leave our successors, our future generations, a scorched planet? Scorched planet means a planet which will be full of heat, where there will be no good environment to breathe in, and it will be totally hot. It will be a planet of advancing deserts. There will be no natural green landscapes, but there will be only advancing deserts, and there will be impoverished landscapes. Impoverished landscapes means where we will not enjoy. Today we enjoy the beauty of the nature and its landscapes, but the more way we are using our natural resources, the way we are treating our earth, it has become a patient, and it will give us an ailing environment. Mr. Lester R. Brown, in his book The Global Economic Prospects, has discussed about the Earth's principal biological systems. So there are four principal main biological systems of the Earth that you have to remember. That are number one, fisheries, number two, the forests, number three, the grasslands, and number four, the croplands. So these four you have to remember, that these fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands, they are the principal biological systems of the earth, and they form the foundation of the global economic system. That means the whole economy of our globe, the whole economy of our earth depends upon these principal biological systems only, that is fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. How do they help in the global economic systems? Let's read that in addition to supplying our food, these four systems provide virtually all the raw materials for industry except minerals and petroleum derived synthetics. So all the raw material that is used, that is required to run any kind of industry except the minerals and petroleum derived synthetics, all the raw material is obtained from these four principal biological systems only. Not only that these biological systems help us in supplying our food, but they also provide the raw material to run the industries. But human claims on these systems are reaching an unsustainable level. But the rate at which we are using these biological systems, that has reached an unsustainable level. That means a point where their productivity is being impaired. That means the rate that we are consuming all these resources as compared to the rate that they are repaired, that is hugely, vastly different. We are consuming at a much faster rate than the rate that is used, that is taken by the earth to repair itself, to impair itself. And when this happens, if we will consume or if we will use up all these natural resources at a much faster consumption rate than the production rate, what will happen? The fisheries will collapse, the forests will disappear, grasslands will convert into barren wastelands, and croplands deteriorate. all the four principal biological systems will vanish and they will be deteriorated. That means if all these four biological systems are deteriorated, then ultimately the impact is going to be on the industry, the global economic system. In a protein conscious and protein hungry world, overfishing is common every day. Just to fulfill our health needs of protein, we are consuming fish, we are taking out the fish from the water at an overfishing. Overfishing means at a much larger rate than the fish are being reproduced. In poor countries, local forests are decimated. They are used to procure firewood for cooking. In some places, firewood has become so expensive that what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it. That means the cost of the food, what goes inside it, means what goes inside the pot, the food that we are cooking, that is not as expensive as the fuel that is used to cook the food. Firewood has become so expensive that we are using our forests, we are cutting down our forests at such a faster rate that fuel wood has become very, very expensive. And because we are cutting down the forests at such a larger scale, that means the tropical forests are deteriorating, they are vanishing. But tropical forests, as they are called, powerhouse of evolution. Evolution means where life originates, where life begins. Several species of life face extinction as a result of its destruction. So if tropical forests are destroyed, the result would be the extinction of several species which are the powerhouse of evolution. It has been well said that forests precede mankind and deserts follow. It clearly states that before the human beings arrived on the scene of the earth was full of forests. There were too many forests here on the planet. But when the mankind, human beings, will leave the earth, they are going to leave behind only deserts. So you can well imagine the harm, that the destruction that we are doing to our earth, which has given life to us, that it is so vast that we will not leave any kind of greenery, any kind of vegetation for the coming generations, but we will only leave deserts for them. The world's ancient patrimony of tropical forests is now eroding at the rate of 40 to 50 million acres a year. Means in 1 year, 40 to 50 million acres of tropical forest land is being destroyed. And the growing use of dung means the animal waste, for burning deprives the soil of an important natural fertilizer. Not only that we are cutting down the forests for fuel wood requirements, but we are also utilizing the animal dung for cooking food, which is depriving the soil of its natural fertilizer. The World Bank estimates that a five-fold increase in the rate of forest planting is needed to cope with the expected fuel wood demand in the year 2000. So the World Bank estimates that the rate at which we are destroying the forest, the rate at which we are cutting down the trees, five-fold increase in the rate of forest planting is needed to cope up with the fuel wood demand. James Speth, the president of the World Resources Institute, said the other day, we are saying that we are losing the forests at acre a second, but it is much closer to an acre and a half to a second. That means in 1 second, we just waste, we destroy 1.5 acre of forest land. Let's come to Article 48A of the Indian Constitution, the Central Government Act. It says that in the Constitution of India 1949, 48A article says that protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forests and wildlife, the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests and wildlife of the country. So that means the Article 48A gives this provision that it is the duty of each state that it has to protect and improve the environment and also safeguard the forests and wildlife. That the states will not only work to protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forests and wildlife, but it shall also endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to save the forests and wildlife of the country. But what causes endless anguish is the fact that laws are never respected nor enforced in India. This is a very, very important statement from the questions point of view also, that laws are never respected nor enforced in India. People do not take laws in India very seriously. A recent report of our Parliament's Estimates Committee has highlighted the near catastrophic depletion. Catastrophic means a near tragic depletion of India's forests over the last 4 decades. India, according to reliable data, is losing its forests at the rate of 3.7 million acres a year. Large areas officially designated as forest lands. Those areas which are officially given the status as forest lands, they're already virtually treeless. That means the areas which are covered by the government as forest lands, but they don't have any trees. They're already virtually treeless. The actual loss of forest is estimated to be about 9 times the rate indicated by the government statistics. The growth of world population is one of the strongest factors distorting the future of human society. As we know that India is soon going to be the largest populated nation in the world, and this is one of the strongest factors which is distorting the human society's future. It took mankind more than 1 million years to reach the first billion. That means to reach 1 billion, the mankind took 1 million years. That was the world population around the year 1800. By the year 1900, in another 100 years, second billion was added. That means 1 billion in 1 million years and 1 billion in 100 years. And the 20th century has added another 3.7 billion. The present world population is estimated at 5.7 billion. Every 4 days, the world population increases by 1 million. That means it's too fast. Fertility falls as incomes rise. If incomes will rise, fertility will fall. If education will spread, fertility will fall. And if health improves, fertility will fall. The population can be stopped from growing at such a fast speed if people have enough money, if people have enough education, and people are aware of their health improvement, their health requirements. Thus, development is the best contraceptive. If there is development, people will understand the need to control this population. But development itself may not be possible if the present increase in numbers continues. The population of India is estimated to be 920 million today, more than the entire populations of Africa and South America put together. No one familiar with the conditions in India would doubt that the hope of the people would die in their hungry hutments unless population control is given the topmost priority. But because of the green movement, for the first time in human history, we are seeing a concern, a transcending concern, that we are concerned not only about the survival of the people, but of the planet. We have begun to take a holistic view of the very basis of our existence. The environmental problem does not necessarily signal our demise. That means we are not going to die. It means it's just a warning that if we will cover this problem, if we'll solve this problem, we will definitely have a path